All right. Wow. It's this journey's been surreal. When the day that Gene entered my life, which was late 2014, we first had our first conversations. Prior to that, I had been working with the team, and we obviously had started EXP back in 2009, and we literally said back then that somebody's going to get what we've built, and then things are going to really take off. Because we really were building this sort of foundational element of the company from 2009. But if we kind of go back just a little bit, I got my real estate license in 2002, and I was studying, and of course prior to that I was involved in technology, and I'd run some small businesses, created a number of businesses, in fact when I got into real estate I was $40,000 more in debt than when I started my previous startup. So I was literally at that point where I'm not able to pay my credit card bills, and driving around in a Ford Focus wagon with a burn in my seat, driving around people, showing them houses. And so I as well am one of the people here on stage that EXP has changed the life of, which is pretty amazing, because literally in 2009, we were pretty much broke as anybody who ran a real estate brokerage from 2008 to 2009 that didn't go bankrupt is pretty darn lucky, because there was basically about 2/3, and David Gagnon can certainly comment to this back in the day, but we were interviewing managing brokers to open up states. At least 2/3 of them had filed bankruptcy coming out of 2008, 2009, and going to 2010, 11, 12. And so it really beat a lot of us up. But we went back, obviously, and we figured out how to get to 2009. And we looked at all the different models that were out there, and we said, we want to do something big. And our goals at the time, and even in 2012, 2013, was 10,000 agents potentially by 2020, and that was our optimistic goal. Obviously, we blew that away. So thanks, Gene, for recognizing the model. And then, of course, Rob shortly after that, and obviously so many other people who've joined as well, and those before. I mean, we've got people that are here. Literally, Suzanne Fuquay, who was on stage earlier, she was actually our managing broker for Buyer Tours Realty, which was actually the iteration of the company prior to. And we have so many people who've come through this journey whose lives have been changed. So it's just awesome. I'm going to go through a few slides here, and this was I was thinking about coming in today, and I really this quote I wrote actually I was kind of inspired to write it, but really the future of eXp Realty is dependent on continually iterating, it's supposed to be iterating, my newer slide says iterating, on the value proposition of the individual agent and team, and providing them the platform to expand exponentially their business without the limitations of legacy business structures. I think that's that's what myself, I know we've got a number of people from leadership. We've got Jeff Whiteside, our CFO, who joined us in last November. We've got Stacy Onen here, President of Brokerage Operations. We've got Dave Kennord, President of Growth. We've got a number of people here who are every day iterating on how to continually add value to agents and brokers and teams. And so revenue share it's a value add opportunity that most agents obviously don't have. Obviously, some people focus more exclusively on the revenue share portion of it. But fundamentally, we are about real estate agents that are out listing and selling homes, and then having an opportunity to get off of the treadmill that unfortunately is the reality that most agents in most other situations sort of find themselves in. So, making real estate fun again really has to do with the fact that when you first got into real estate, it was fun getting those first few deals in, and then you figure out that there's not a way off the hamster wheel. And so as a result, in real estate, the phrase that I used to talk about quite a bit in the early days when I was doing the one-on-ones and the lunch and learns and all the things that Jay Kinder was talking about was real estate agents don't retire, they just die. So there's, and it's literally the only business, obviously, and I say this, with great respect for these individuals as well, but there are people that are still selling real estate using walkers, not because they want to, but because they have to. So when we think about what it was that I recognized for myself personally back in my days as an agent, it was that, the first thing they talk about is that in order to actually build something, you need to build a team. And most of us probably have read the Red Book, so we're all familiar with that. And when we read it, we go, holy smokes, this is the holy grail. Let's build a team. I'm going to be able to retire, I'll be able to sell my book of business. And it's so hard to do. It happens so often. It's like getting struck by lightning twice in the same spot on the same day on subsequent years. It's pretty difficult to do that. And so I recognize that personally. And so the next thing that they say is you need to become a broker and own your own brokerage. And so, of course, having done that, you realize that they fooled me a second time. So the idea of actually owning a brokerage doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense either in a traditional sense. But back in 2009, I wasn't ready to throw the towel in. It had been easy to do. In fact, it was sort of almost an up and down kind of thing, whether we were going to throw in the towel and go do something else, or if we would actually go back to the drawing board and figure out what a real estate brokerage needed to look like to be sustainable for the long haul in good times and bad times, and be attractive to the agents and brokers that work there over the long haul. And that was really what we tried to solve. And it really came down to really the technology revolution really made that happen. 20 years ago, technology didn't allow us to do what we do today. Cloud computing, and now we're talking about things like distributed computing on the blockchain. Social networks to now 3D immersive work environments. So think about the enterprise and how we're using EXP World and the way that we can collaborate and things like workplace. These things didn't exist 20 years ago. AI and machine learning. I mean, the reality is that we've all been engaged today at some level. If we opened up our smartphone or our smartwatches or what have you, AI and machine learning has had an impact on our lives today. And that's just going to continually impact what we're doing. We talked about really, my other slide was 3G to 4G to 5G. Once 3G came on the scene, which was around 2006, 2007, we finally had high-speed internet in our pockets. Now, 4G is tremendously better. If you ever do a speed test, you get something like 20 megabits a second on your smartphone, which is in 2002 or 1999, 20 years ago. You were lucky if you had a 28.8 baud modem with all that stuff going on, and now we've got super fast, high-speed internet everywhere, and this really kind of creates this this new backdrop. Things like Uber and then eventually driverless cars. I mean, the fact is that all of this stuff changes the landscape and also changes the future landscape of real estate brokerage and pretty much all industries. So, so these things didn't exist, but because they existed and they were starting to exist at some level in 2009, we were able to take advantage of it and build something that was pretty unique. Now, technology, of course, is faster than ever before, and it ain't getting slower. And similar to that, we'll never be this small again, technology will never be this slow again. So we'll only get faster, better, cheaper, and more efficient. And something else that I want to talk about technology, there's a lot of companies right now that are pitching technology. technology, technology, technology. We have the best technology. We invented the cloud for real estate. We built a really cool smart sign for real estate and technology. But the reality is that technology itself can be a red herring. Obviously there's major, well-funded. Some have recently, raised over $1 billion at crazy valuations, calling themselves technology companies and building technologies and hiring engineers. But no matter what technology they build today for your real estate business, they will maybe marginally improve your short-term business, but won't change your long-term outcome. And so that's one of the differences between what we're doing with EXP, is really thinking about what's the long-term impact of the things that we can build. Now, we're building technology. We've got Show Me Now. I'll talk a little bit about iBuyer and some of the other technologies that we've got coming down the pipe. We'll talk about some of the partnerships. But the reality is that it's how do you put the agent at the forefront of every decision you make, and that's just what we do. And it's the reason why we're all here, and it's the reason why we're growing as fast as we are. It's the mindset. And in a lot of respects, I think a lot of people, I don't know if I saw Tony, but Veronica Figueroa is probably here somewhere as well. But I saw her at Inman, and she asked, "Why do I keep on doing this?" Because obviously it's been really successful. And I'm like, I just love doing this. It's not about the money. It's not. Obviously it's got financials and other things that go along with it. But it's really cool to make an impact. It's really fun to make an impact. So relative to technology, there's not a single cutting-edge technology in real estate that won't be off-the-shelf technology in the next 2 years if it's not already off-the-shelf technology. So I just want you guys to know that when somebody says, hey, we've got this AI thing, or we've got this great CRM, even if they have the better one today, it won't be for long. Technology changes so darn fast, and we're going through the same exercises that every other company is doing on technology. We're asking the questions of, do we build, do we buy, do we license, do we build, do we buy, do we license, do I hire smart engineers, do we partner with companies? These are the things that we do, and that's what any company needs to do, and continually do that. That will never change. Just imagine if the first technologists quit when they built the wheel. So that was technology back in the day. The wheel was technology. Everything that we think about is technology. Anything that enables us to do business faster, better, cheaper, generally speaking, falls in the bucket of technology. And so even though it sort of is out there, it's also something that happens around you every day. Every time you pick another piece of software, another app to add on your phone, another website to go to, you're making technology decisions, and that's part of what you have to do. And staying agile and nimble. Somebody asked earlier in the 9 o'clock session that I did with Sam Rodriguez. The question was how do you stay agile? And how we stay agile is by just paying attention. We're in the business every day. Somebody wants to come into the EXP main portion of EXP World, and they want to find me in my office or walking around there. That's where I spend most of my time. So now you know. Now you can stalk me. But that's where we're having meetings. Jeff Whiteside and I have meetings. That's where we meet. That's where Dave Knord and Stacy On and so many people on the technology, the accounting team, the transaction team, all the various teams. We're all working in the background, and to a large extent, you can come in, hear what we're talking about. Now, don't everybody come at once, but every once in a while, just stick your head in, hear the conversations that we're having, be part of it. If you've got something that's on your mind, come on in. It's really cool, and hopefully, we keep that technology to ourselves for a while, but who knows in the next 2 years. Brent asked me to sort of make some predictions, and I know Tom was talking 200,000 agents. I was just doing some mental math on 10 years from now, and I actually kind of think this might be a little conservative. Who knows? It might be a little bit optimistic as well, but everyone in here is probably an optimist, so it probably goes both ways. But I truly believe that in the next 10 years, we're going to have over 4,000 professionals with EXP. We're going to, if you think about it, yeah, what's that? 400,000, yeah, 400,000. Yeah, I'm gonna have 4,000. Yep, we're going down. I was just thinking about Jay Kinder's slide. He had 4,000 at the bottom of that 12-month thing. I was going back to the 12-month number. You know, we're going to be in 30 plus countries. We're going to be vertically integrated across the value chain. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and numerous complementary verticals that will also be able to help us on our real estate. But also, you guys are all co-owners, shoulder to shoulder with me, Gene, and every single other person in here in this larger enterprise. And there's so many different things that we're going to be able to do together to build a unique ecosystem that's going to be incredible over the next 10 years. That's not a very busy slide. Not sure where the other one went, but actually I know what was on there. You know, we've got the, you know, we've just announced some affiliate partnerships. Intralend First Cloud is going to be an incredible relationship. And I know, Jay Nelson, you went and did sort of a deep dive on it. You were like, first of all, a little skeptical, and then you jumped in. You're going, oh my God, this thing is just amazing. And if you know lenders that you like, and respect, that you would like to do business with, introduce them to what we're doing at Intraland. First thing they're going to do is they're going to first sort of put their hands up and go, I don't want to do this because it's going to cost a little bit of my commission in terms of referral fees into the Intraland platform. But the second part is they're going to be exposed to all of the enthusiastic, entrepreneurial EXP agents that can send them business. So their opportunity will go up dramatically as opposed to, you know, worrying about the 2 or 3 deals that they're thinking about that they might get from you as an agent. As an individual, now they're opening up their opportunity to actually be in business with many, many agents and be exposed to a larger ecosystem. Silverline Title and Escrow is something we're just in the process of launching. This is a title and escrow company that each and every one of us is going to own together. That's going to be in all 50 states, which is going to make things like getting paid faster as an agent. So we're going to be able to think about streamlining the closing process. We're going to be able to think about, in one of my moonshots, and I say it's a moonshot because I don't know when we'll be able to do this, but I truly believe we'll be able to do this at some point. Once we're able to sort of streamline that process, how would you, especially those who have grown your groups of agents all around the world at that point, hopefully, every time there's a closing, wouldn't it be cool if you had your rev share deposit in real time at the moment in closing? So we're going to be able to do some really cool things with that. Obviously, we've got some other relationships as well. America's Preferred Home Warranty. Anytime you attach a warranty, whether you're working with the seller to make the home more marketable, you know, this home is warranted, and so buyers are going to naturally be attracted to that property to take a peek at it. Or if you're just working with a buyer, there's a little bit of a financial incentive for you to go do that. So there's some cool things there. And then we've got, obviously, Moving Hub. The other one is Express Offers. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. And when I say we, there's going to be a gentleman named Gary McCarthy, and he is the CEO of a company called Wedgwood, which is the largest fix and flip company in the nation. They typically buy on the courthouse steps. They're usually the crappiest houses that you could ever find. That's what they really like. They like the worse they look, the better. They do about 6,000 homes a year. They're the single biggest buyer of product from Home Depot. And they have agreed to actually be the first anchor buyer on a platform that we've been working on for the last 2 or 3 months. And there's a bunch of other buyers of real estate that want to buy 1,000, 2,000. One company we're talking to wants to buy 10,000 homes. They already own over 50,000 homes across the nation. And this is what they want to own. And they'd like to be able to buy homes through us, but then also list homes through EXP agents. So it's going to be a really, really cool opportunity. And then the other piece is that we're going to be able to plug in other buyers that you know. Some of you may be those buyers. You'll be able to plug your buyers in to actually be able to bid on homes on the back end of our iBuyer platform. And anytime one of your buyers buys, you're going to get a little spiff every time they purchase a home through the platform. So Express Offers is coming. It's just in beta. We're in a small test market right now in Southern California, I believe. Nate and Gary can talk about that tomorrow. But it's going to get a lot larger, a lot quicker. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being part of EXP. It is surreal. One of the cool things of working remote, and I'll just throw this out there, is you're able to actually put your head down and work on the business a lot of times in a different way than when you're in a big office setting. And so I work home office just like pretty much everybody else in the company. And then every once in a while, I'll see a group of people, I don't know what the number is, 1,200 plus people that are here. EXPCon's coming up in 2 months, I guess less than 2 months, here in Las Vegas, and there'll be over 2,200 people at EXPCon. I suspect probably everybody here in this room will be there, but it's going to be incredible. But we're impacting so many people's lives. And then I was at a concert the other day, back actually in early June, and there was about 25,000 people at this concert. And I looked at it and it was like, holy smokes, that's approximately how many people are going to be with EXP by the end of the year. And it's just really crazy and awesome to have impacted that many lives. So, and again, I want to just say, we have so many rock stars that have joined EXP, so many people that I looked up to and studied in the mid-2000s, especially, Jeff Willems, Jay Kinder, and so many other folks that were really sort of on the big stage, building huge businesses, and now so many of these great leaders have come here, and as Jay said, build one big fire. I never dreamed that was going to take place, and I knew that we were going to get some great agents over time, but not this great. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on the journey. So.